Dad, maybe it's time we looked at assisted living facilities. Those words from my daughter struck me like ice water 3 weeks ago. Assisted living. In my mind, that represented giving up on life itself. Yet here I sit today, managing quite well on only $500 each month. No facility, no round-the-clock help. And I'm going to share with you precisely how I made it happen. My name is Thomas Martinez. I'm 73 years old. I dedicated 4 decades building my career at a major pharmaceutical company. Stepped away as a vice president and believed I had everything planned out. But when I lost my wife 6 years ago, my entire world shifted. The home suddenly echoed with silence. Doctor appointments became overwhelming challenges, and each morning I confronted the same thought. Where do I fit in anymore? I notice some of you recognizing this feeling. Perhaps you're wrestling with the same question. Once you enter your 70s, everyone seems to have advice about your living situation. Move in with family, bring in help, enter a care facility. But here's the truth nobody shares. None of these standard solutions might suit you. Before I continue, please tap that like button and subscribe. This channel tells stories that can transform your perspective on growing older. And believe me, what I'm about to share will offer you an entirely fresh outlook. So let me explain what unfolded when I attempted all 3 conventional paths, and why I ultimately rejected each one. For several months following my wife's passing, I remained in our home by myself. Initially, I could handle it. I prepared meals, operated my car, managed my responsibilities. But gradually, things shifted. My back started hurting relentlessly. I'd walk downstairs, and my knees would feel unsteady. Twisting open containers became difficult. Hauling shopping bags left me breathless. Then, one night, I lost my footing in the shower. Nothing major, but it shook me deeply. That evening, staring at the ceiling, I wondered, what if next time is worse? So I reached out to my daughter, Patricia. How would you feel if I stayed with you temporarily? She responded immediately. Dad, absolutely. You should have mentioned this earlier. Her husband greeted me with open arms. My grandsons squeezed me tight when I arrived. Those initial days felt perfect. Shared meals, joy filling the rooms. I remember thinking, this is exactly what I was missing. But then the challenges emerged. Patricia and her husband both maintained demanding careers. The boys had classes, athletics, social lives. By week 2, I discovered myself isolated in their house during most hours. Just like my own place, except now in someone else's space. The small tensions began. Dad, maybe less butter. Think of your cholesterol. Dad, could you lower the volume? The boys are studying. I got it. They weren't being unkind, but every suggestion felt like a sign. You're a visitor here. You're disrupting their rhythm. One evening, I caught my son-in-law during a phone call. I realize it's what we should do, but truthfully, it's draining. I can't even run to the store without feeling guilty. And he gets so withdrawn when we have friends over. You can sense he feels excluded. Those statements wounded me. That's when I understood that living with relatives doesn't eliminate loneliness. Sometimes it intensifies the isolation, because you're among people, yet still feel unseen. Someone once wrote in the comments, staying with your children sounds ideal, but everyone requires their personal territory. It's wiser to maintain independence while you're able. They had it exactly right. After 2.5 months, I informed Patricia I was returning home. She expressed concern about my safety, but I stood firm. I required my own domain. I needed to stop being an obligation. Returning home brought relief. But it also brought the harsh truth. I couldn't manage everything independently anymore. My elbow ached when I carried pans. I'd fumble with dishes. Household chores drained me. Those steps reminded me constantly I wasn't youthful anymore. One afternoon, replacing a ceiling bulb, my arms began trembling. The bulb fell. I steadied myself against the doorframe, pulse racing. This is how elderly people wind up hospitalized, I realized. So I researched home care options. Not around the clock. That seemed too intrusive, but perhaps occasional assistance. 4 days weekly, 2.5 hours each visit. The initial aide was Linda. Late 40s, kind demeanor, skilled. When she arrived that first day, I felt uncomfortable. A stranger, handling my belongings, working in my space. But after several weeks, I adjusted. She organized efficiently, prepared basic meals, handled shopping. We conversed occasionally. Briefly, I believed this could actually work. Then the invoices arrived. Even limited care ran $3,800 monthly. My retirement income provided $2,100. I had funds set aside, but monitoring that balance decrease month after month, I couldn't continue indefinitely, and there were complications. I prefer tidying the kitchen right after eating. Linda liked tackling it afterward. Minor differences, but they bothered me. Why must I adapt to another person's methods in my own residence? Then Linda departed. Personal situation. Suddenly, I needed to begin again with someone unfamiliar. New individual, new approaches, new dynamics. The third aide stayed 6 weeks. The fourth, barely 10 days. Each time a fresh face entered my doorway, I had to orient them completely. I was worn out. One online remark stayed with me. Wellness is paramount. When you're well, living arrangements don't matter much. The crisis arrives when your health deteriorates and you surrender your autonomy. I considered this. I'm not at that point yet. So why am I spending $3,800 monthly acting as though I am? I discontinued the service. Now my choices seemed exhausted. Or so I believed. Patricia discovered a residence nearby, $2,800 monthly. Maintained rooms, healthcare professionals. Food provided. She proposed I test it for 4 weeks, just to evaluate, Dad. I consented, mainly because I was weary of solving problems solo. Moving in day felt odd, like entering a medical center, except I wasn't ill. My quarters were compact but tidy, nothing resembling home. The opening days weren't awful. I connected with fellow residents. We played games, discussed earlier times. Food was acceptable. But by week's end, I began feeling confined. Rise at 5:45 a.m. Morning meal 7:15. Midday meal 11:45. Evening meal 5:15. Retire 8:45 p.m. I've always been nocturnal. I enjoy reading past midnight. But here at 8:45, the corridor lighting reduced. If staff noticed brightness beneath my door, someone would tap. Mr. Martinez, it's rest time now. Rest time. I'm 73 years old. I've made my own choices for 73 years. Now a stranger dictates my bedtime. One night, I desired a walk outdoors. Lovely evening, gentle wind, starry heavens. I moved toward the door. A worker intercepted me. Mr. Martinez, Outdoor access concluded at 6:45 p.m. Regulation. Regulation. Those words became my cage. The hardest part, I wasn't even significantly unwell. I could move around, reason clearly, care for myself. Yet here I existed, living as if I'd surrendered all self-determination. My roommate produced sounds like a freight train nightly. I requested different quarters. We'll explore possibilities. Nothing happened. After nearly a month, I contacted Patricia. I'm departing. Dad, you promised you'd complete the month. This isn't existence. I'd prefer struggling at home than being content in captivity. The day I exited, the sunshine seemed more brilliant. The atmosphere felt cleaner. I had my freedom returned. Back home, I felt unburdened, but also trapped. I'd tested everything. Relatives, hired help, care facility, nothing succeeded. For several days, I did very little. Just rested on my balcony, observed the street. Activity continued everywhere around me, but I felt disconnected from it. Then one afternoon, passing through the neighborhood park, I walked by the primary school. 2:45 p.m. Children pouring out, parents collecting them. That's when I noticed Jennifer. She resided in my complex, perpetually hurried, perpetually overwhelmed. She stood with her phone, moving nervously. I can't depart early again, Tom. My supervisor mentioned it last week. She disconnected. Appeared ready to break down. I understood her circumstances. Spouse traveled extensively, managing their 7-year-old son largely by herself. Without planning, I approached. Pardon me, Jennifer. If you require someone to collect your son, I'd gladly assist. She seemed surprised. Oh, I couldn't impose on you. You're not imposing. I'm volunteering. I pass this way daily anyway. Are you certain? Absolutely. What's his name? Oliver, 2nd grade. I'll be here at 2:45 tomorrow. That's how it commenced. The following day, I collected Oliver, accompanied him home. He talked about his day, his instructor, his classmates. When Jennifer arrived home at 4:45, she appeared at my door with a container of food. I prepared extra tonight. Please accept this. I attempted declining. That's unnecessary. Mr. Martinez, you're assisting me tremendously. Allow me to reciprocate. That established our pattern. I collected Oliver daily. Jennifer provided meals for me. But it evolved beyond that. Jennifer's spouse repaired my dripping tap. Jennifer showed me how to manage bills digitally. Oliver created artwork for me. Crayon drawings of us walking, a bright sun overhead. He attached them to my refrigerator. One evening, Jennifer remarked, "You realize you've transformed our situation. I was barely managing before you appeared." I smiled. You've transformed mine as well. I'd forgotten the feeling of being useful. And that was the revelation, the essential truth. I didn't require someone to manage my care. I required purpose, to still contribute something meaningful. One comment I encountered stated, "The answer isn't whether you live with relatives or independently. The answer is maintaining wellness and creating a community your people support one another." That individual grasped precisely what I learned. Now, let me clarify something. I'm not suggesting everyone should follow my exact approach. Your circumstances might differ. Perhaps your health is more compromised than mine. Perhaps living with your children genuinely suits you. There's no universal solution. But here's what I discovered. First, you needn't select between complete independence and complete dependence. Middle ground exists. You can welcome assistance without surrendering control. You can contribute without depleting yourself. Second, community holds greater value than finances. I invested $3,800 monthly on AIDS and remained isolated. Now I spend $500 and feel more engaged than I have in years. Why? Because money purchases services, but not connections. Jennifer doesn't assist me because I'm compensating her. She assists because I assist her. That distinction matters. Third, you still possess something worthwhile to share. I spent years believing I'm elderly now. I'm declining. What value do I offer? Turns out, plenty. I have availability. I have wisdom. I can escort a 7-year-old home. I can listen when someone needs understanding. Age doesn't eliminate your worth. It simply transforms what you can provide. Fourth, aging doesn't signify your existence is finished. Helping Jennifer reminded me, my life continues. It's simply different now. I'm not advancing my career anymore, but I'm still present. I still have significance. Today, I'm living according to my choices. Jennifer and her family share dinner with me twice weekly. Oliver creates artwork for me. I've begun assisting other neighbors as well. We're not a formal program. We're simply neighbors who recognized we're navigating this together. Some people ask, but what about when you become seriously ill? Valid question. Perhaps eventually I'll require more assistance. Perhaps I'll reconsider those alternatives. But presently, I'm living fully. And when that time arrives, I'll address it identically. Discover what suits me, not what convention dictates I should do. If you're viewing this and questioning what to do when independent living becomes impossible, here's my response. Don't assume the conventional options represent your only possibilities. Examine your community. Ask yourself, what can I still provide? Who might benefit from what I can offer? Perhaps you're skilled with children. Perhaps you understand finances. Perhaps you simply know how to truly listen. One commenter expressed it perfectly. The primary requirement is always wellness. Maintain your health, and everything else becomes manageable. They're completely correct. Care for your physical self. That's your foundation. But beyond health, cultivate relationships. Not because you'll eventually need support, but because existence is fuller when you're connected. I'm 73 years old. I live independently. But I'm not isolated. And I'm not anticipating the day I can't cope. I'm living right now, today, on my terms. If this narrative connected with you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it. And leave a comment. What's your vision for your later years? I'd genuinely like to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and remember, your finest days aren't in the past.